Ms Legalista here, back with the phone. The phone. I cannot, for some reason, remember to turn the phone off. That was a Be Real notification for those of you who use Be Real. Okay, let me make sure I look good because the last time you guys, I had a lock up, sticking straight up in the air, and nobody told me. Yeah. In this video, I'm going to be talking about another romance scammer, and this wasn't even your typical one. These people were all in. They were all in. And let me see if I can pull this up. I did something with the paperwork here. It's totally, there we go. Okay, that took a lot of work. Get the laptop out of the view so that it can focus on me, and I'm trying to hide other things so that I can look like I'm a professional person online. Got my other laptop over here. I'm going to be working off of this one though. Fola Alabi. Let's go to the Department of Justice. And I really was trying to do this sort of look like this. We're going to go to this Department of Justice website here so that we can check out what happened. Texas man admits role in scamming seniors, not senior. This is not just one. A lot of times you hear me talk about one person. Scamming seniors in Rhode Island and elsewhere in online romance scams. Oh my goodness. Let's pull this up so we can go through this, see what they're saying here. Okay. Out of Providence, Rhode Island, Fola Alabi, aka Fola Alabi, 52 years old, of Richmond, Texas, pleaded guilty in federal court in Providence to charges of conspiracy and money laundering, admitting to a federal judge that he created companies and opened bank accounts that were used to launder more than 1.6 million. That's a lot of money. Built from seniors in at least 11 states, including Rhode Island, in online romance scams. All right, to carry out these schemes, a member of the conspiracy befriended unsuspecting seniors online, often posing as a general in the U.S. military serving overseas. Let me stop right there because I have told you before, like this one is not new, right? That little piece right there, that is not new. I have told you before some of the lines that they use. It came directly from the Department of Justice. And they said this is what they say. They say they are working overseas in either the military or construction or some sort of contractor work. That is what they say. So from now on, the moment that you hear a prospective new partner say that he or she is working overseas, that should be a light bulb moment. When they say military, contractor, construction, that should be another light bulb moment. And when you can't really find them on social media, that should be another light bulb moment. And I get it, not everybody wants to be on social media, but hey, there ought to be some evidence out there that this person does indeed exist. All right, let's go back because I said this, okay? I've said this in previous videos. Often posing as a general in the U.S. military serving overseas, a general, like he didn't even start, down here like, I'm down here. No, I'm going to be a general. The conspirator feigned a personal and sometimes romantic interest in his victims and convinced them to send substantial sums of money, usually in the form of bank checks or cash, to addresses and companies in Texas that were controlled by Alabi. Alabi received the money and either deposited or directed that it be deposited into one of several bank accounts that he controlled. He then quickly withdrew or transferred the funds to other accounts. Now, before I go further, if you're a general, I would be like, well, sweetie, why you need my money? You're a general. Don't they pay generals well? I mean, if you're a general, you've been in the service for a while. So why would you need my money? I mean, I think that is a legitimate question that should have been asked. but I don't know. And we're going to actually take a look at what some of the victims' statements were. I'm going to get to those because I do want to see exactly how this happened so we can have a little bit more information here. All right. Among Alabi's victims is a Rhode Island widow who was contacted by a member of the conspiracy claiming to be a General Miller, purportedly a four-star general. Oh, so we're going all in on this. They went all in. Four-star general who convinced the victim to provide $60,000 to finance shipment of his personal belongings to the United States. At the purported General Miller's direction, a check was made payable to Full Circle Import Exports, a company created by Alabi and mailed to Alabi's residence in Texas. The victim was prepared to send an additional significant sum of money to the purported General Miller when it was determined by her bank and the Westerly Police Department that she was likely the victim of fraud. All right. Then it says here, according to court documents, in a cell phone seized from Alabi at the time of his arrest in May 2022, federal agents discovered photographs and videos of packages containing cash and checks received by Alabi from victims of the scam. According to a plea agreement, the purposes of filed in this matter for purposes of sentencing, the loss attributed to the romance scams perpetrated by Alabi and members of the conspiracy is $1,640,421. Alabi will forfeit assets derived from his criminal conduct to include his Texas residence. He's losing the house and over $31,000 contained in a bank account. You guys, that's, like I said before, I have said this and I'm going to keep saying this. I don't know. I think the romance scam one is not as tricky as some of the business ones, because I do think that there were some cases where, I purchased some business services and things weren't quite what I thought they were going to be. Maybe I didn't do my due diligence. Okay. So that's a little different. But the romance scam things, if you take your time, you can spot this. I think this is actually a little bit easier if you're paying attention. But sometimes we don't want to pay attention. Sometimes we're looking for companionship. I get it. So I don't want to place the fault on the victim. I just want to inform people so that they don't become victims. That's the trick here. All right, let me get rid of this Department of Justice thing and go over to, let me see if I can find this court filing so that we can take a look at that. Affidavit in support of application for criminal complaint and arrest warrant, seizure warrants for bank accounts and vehicle. And I'm going to actually skip through this introduction where they talk about the different accounts, the bank accounts, the company, the LLC, everything they're asking be subjected to forfeiture. And then the law enforcement officer who actually is talking about that person's background. And then let's jump here into the background of the investigation, the probable cause, and move down here to victim reports and victim losses. That's what we want to talk about. And let's go with this first one here. On February 2nd, 2022, I interviewed JH, a 78-year-old widow who resides in Westerly, Rhode Island. She stated she met a man via Facebook who identified himself as General Austin Miller in June of 2021. General Miller told her he was a four-star general in the Army and was currently overseas. JH stated after gaining her trust, General Miller asked for her assistance in getting his personal belongings back to the U.S., and in doing so, JH was instructed to send money. JH provided me with a bank Bank of America cashier's check receipt for a $60,000 cashier's check made payable to Full Circle Imports. This is, in addition, JH stated during her initial interview with Westerly Police Department that she recently sold her home and was attempting to withdraw the proceeds of the sale to send to General Miller, and it was $240,000. It says the $240,000 was never sent, due to Westerly Community Credit Union contacting the Westerly Police Department and putting a hold on her account. Now, remember, this is very different from the person who I told you is suing. I don't know if you saw that video. Go back and take a look at that one. The person who is suing Wells Fargo because that person says, hey, my father, oh, it's not her father. I think it was her uncle or something like that, another relative. He was a member of this bank for all of these years. He never sent wires like this. And yet all of a sudden he's sending like 70 wires for all of this money. You then found out there was something fishy going on and that he probably was not in his right mind. And yet you did nothing. You did nothing, even when alerted to the fact that there might have been fraud involved. You did nothing. Now, it sounds like this bank took an entirely different action and said, no, we think there's some fraud going on. We are just not going to stand by and watch this happen. So this bank said, no, no, we are not doing that. Next, on or around March 21st, 2022, FBI agents interviewed RK, another victim. RK is 77 years old and resides in Lewisburg, Tennessee. RK stated that she met a man via Facebook who identified himself as General James Welsh. Oh, he's still a general. He's just got a different name now. General Welsh told her he was a 4-star general in the Army and was currently deployed in Syria. RK stated that she started sending money to General Welsh to help pay for his return home since he was unable to access his accounts. As a result, RK stated that she mailed him a bank check made payable to cash for $15,700 and one cashier's check for over $71,000, totaling $86,801, made payable to the same location. All right, now, oh no, okay, this one hurts. This one hurts because this is right here where I live in North Carolina. March 3rd of last year, FBI agents interviewed DS. DS is a 66-year-old divorcee who resides in Statesville, North Carolina. I've been to Statesville, you guys. Statesville, it's a small town, about an hour and a half, 2 hours west of where I am. I love their downtown. It's very much small town. It's beautiful. Everything looks so clean and well kept. It's like flowers and shrubs. Everything looks really nice. DS stated that she met a man via Facebook who identified himself as General Scott Barrier. Okay, we got a third name here. He likes to keep the general details the same. 4-star general in the Army, deployed overseas somewhere. She met him on Facebook, calling himself General Scott Barrier. He told her he was a general in the Army and was currently stationed in Iraq. So he's getting around, you guys, Syria to Iraq. She stated she started sending money to him to help pay to have his portfolio containing his military orders released after being seized by customs. Okay, now we got to remember, this is a new one, okay? Not just help me get home, help me ship things home, but I've had stuff seized. Okay, remember these tricks that they're telling you. As a result, Dia stated that she mailed cash on 6 occasions, totaling $30,000. $30,000. That's a lot. Let's go down here to the next one. How many of these people did they include? All right, SW is 79 years old. And see, they are targeting our older members of our communities. 79 years old. This is why we have to look out for each other. SW is 79 years old and resides in San Jose, California. SW stated that she met a man via Facebook who identified himself as General James McConville. Where does he come up with these names? General McConville told her he was a general in the Army and was currently stationed in Afghanistan. SW stated she started sending money to General McConville to help pay for his early release from the military, along with his airfare back to the U.S. She stated that she sent most of the money via cashier's checks through USPS, U.S. Postal Service, to various addresses, and she provided some receipts in the amount of $35,000. Yeah, cashier's check. It says Look at this last part down here. SW's husband told agents that based upon his review of financial records, he estimated that SW has lost around $480,000 to the scam, almost $500,000, almost $500,000. Now, I'm not even going to ask where the husband was when this was going on. I feel sorry for the both of them that they're having to go through this. Okay, next we have an 84-year-old widow who resides in Hedgesville, West Virginia. She stated that she met a man on Facebook who identified himself as General Austin Miller, four-star general, again, stationed in Syria. We're back to Syria. She started sending money to a courier who was assisting him with shipping gold bars and jewels out of Syria. Okay, so now we've added a totally different scheme. Shipping gold bars. GR stated that when the portfolio arrived in the U.S., General Miller said General Miller would come back to the United States to be with GR. So he actually told her he was coming back to be with her. She says she mailed cash on multiple occasions, totaling $64,000. Yes. All right, next one. DC is an 80-year-old widow who resides in Stark, Florida. DC stated that she received a Facebook message from someone who initially she believed to be her brother in October 2021. This is this is 2023, guys. They've been going on for a while here. The message was related to an investment opportunity. After expressing interest in the investment, DC was contacted over the phone and instructed to send money. As a result, DC stated that she mailed a cashier's check in the amount of $100,000 payable to that same company. And then DC stated shortly after mailing the check, DC spoke to her brother over the phone, who advised her that his Facebook account was hacked and that she was scammed. So she thought this was her brother, and it wasn't. The whole thing was a scam. That's a little different. So they've got he had multiple scams going on, this guy. All right, JS is an 81-year-old widow who resides in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Stated she's been speaking to a man via Google Hangouts who identified himself as General Scott Barrier. Oh, well, the name is starting to get close. I guess he's like running out of names. I'm going to use some variation of a previous name here. Told her she was in the Army. He was in the Army and currently stationed in Iraq. JS stated she was sending money to General Barrier to help him get some documents and gold out of Iraq. She, I guess, had 2 cashier's checks totaling $90,000. You guys. All right. How about this one? $334,500. Okay, let's see what we can learn from this one. SC is a 78-year-old widow who resides in Prescott Valley, Arizona. SC stated that she lost her husband on Valentine's Day. Okay, that right there is just sad, to lose your husband on Valentine's Day. SC stated that she met a man via Facebook who identified himself as General Austin Miller in May of 2021 while she was in the hospital. Okay, so not only has she lost her husband in Valentine's Day, but now she is being hunted down while she's in the hospital. This person is reaching out to her while she is in the hospital. General Miller told her he was in the Army and currently stationed in Kabul and Syria. She started sending money via FedEx and USPS to a diplomatic courier. So that was probably the term he used, who was assisting General Miller with shipping important papers and jewels out of Syria. Bank records also identified 3 cashier's checks totaling $334,500. SC admitted that she has lost over $925,000 to include selling her home, RV, and jewelry to support this scam. SC stated that she has not felt shame, embarrassment, or guilt over that she has felt. I'm sorry, let me get that right, because I certainly don't want to get this sentence wrong. She stated that she has felt shame, embarrassment, and guilt over being scammed. General Miller stated was still contacting her and wanted her to send another $1,300 in the morning. She was hospitalized shortly after my interview, SC was hospitalized due to concerning comments she made to me and the officers. Look, this is This is heartbreaking to hear. It really is. I mean, this is terrible. Let's just go down the list here. Again. Okay. Most of these people are older. Most of them are alone, meaning they're not married, they have lost their spouse, or persons close to them live far away, and they're not in daily close contact with them. They have money or some means to obtain money, meaning they might have retirement funds or they might have a house or vehicles that they can sell. And they may be in a position where they're feeling somewhat lonely. They're on Facebook. Think about that for a second, okay? Because most of these said these people were being contacted on Facebook. That makes sense. If you're a scammer and you're trying to scam older people, you're going to Facebook. You're not really seeking out a lot of older people on TikTok, because older people tend to be on Facebook, not as much so on TikTok. So when you think about these things and you think about people contacting you or people that you know, start to think about some of the things that I'm mentioning here. What's the age of the person? How have they been contacted? Is it through Facebook? Is it through a text message? Is it through DM on Facebook? Ask these questions of people around you. This one was particularly sad because she had lost her husband, and now, part of the thing too is people don't want to step forward because they feel shame and guilt. They are embarrassed. They're like, I can't believe I fell for that. I thought for sure that this person really liked me and wanted to one day come back to the US and be with me. And maybe this was going to be the last time before I die that I was going to be with someone and have a relationship. And so they've fallen for this, not because of any ill intention on their part, not at all. So it's really heartbreaking to hear this. Let me go back and we will start to wrap some of these up. But like I said, I hope, by listening to some of these, you can see over and over again what they're using, the comments, their modus operandi, okay? The plan that they use over and over again. DP, someone a little younger, is a 68-year-old widow who resides in New Waverly, Texas. DP says she met a man via a messenger app who identified himself as General Glenn Goddard. He told her he was in the army, currently stationed in Syria. She started sending money to a courier who was assisting General Goddard with shipping gold, diamonds, and jewels out of Syria. Some of this to younger people might sound fishy. You go shipping gold, diamonds, and jewels out of Syria. I think younger people would have a harder time falling for it. I think because they've grown up more in a culture where they keep hearing about scams, whereas older people have not. It's just sort of like, at least not close to you. It might have been something that they read about. As a result, DP mailed cashier's checks to help General Goddard. Yep, 6 cashier's checks totaling $55,000. And then we have SH, 66 years old and resides in Nampa, Idaho, I think that is. Stated she met a man via Facebook who identified himself as General Austin Miller. General Miller told her he was a general in the U.S. Armed Services and currently stationed in Afghanistan. She started sending check money to General Austin to help pay for shipping his possessions back to the U.S. Okay, remember, that's one of those common ones, shipping his possessions back to the U.S. She said she sent cash totaling $20,000. Then we have JM from South Dakota who sends $5,000. A 57-year-old widow who resides in Wanblee, South Dakota. She said she met a man via Facebook who identified himself as General Scott Barrier, claimed to be stationed in Afghanistan. It says here, JM stated that General Barrier would tell JM that he cared for her. JM stated that she spoke to General Barrier on one occasion and described him as speaking with broken English. JM stated she started sending money to General Barrier to help pay for his portfolio, which he claimed was worth a lot of money. Okay, so why would you, like, some of that doesn't even make sense. It really doesn't. And then you can see here, they're saying all of the funds were deposited into bank accounts that were controlled by Fola Alabi and Moriama Alabi. Yeah, and so they have the banks and the bank accounts there. So you can see there that, yes, the kind of schemes, the kind of stories that they made up, this is awful. This is awful. But at least by going through so many of those, hopefully some of that will sort of sink in and you'll think about it. You'll share that with other people, familiarize yourself with the way these romance scammers operate, what they say. In this instance, this guy, he had the whole army theme going on, 4-star general in the army, saying I'm shipping papers back, I'm shipping gold back, I need to pay customs. Yeah. So hopefully that helps bring you up to speed again with how these romance scammers work, especially the 4-star general, which I think I'm going to have to throw in the title here. 4-star general, fake 4-star general, bilks, I don't know, 1 point something million as romance scammer. All right, you guys take it easy. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.